Hello. In this video I'd like to introduce you to the FLAX Flexible Language Acquisition System and demonstrate some of the ways in which you can use it to develop your own knowledge of academic writing in English. First of all, we'll have a look at how FLAX gives examples of some of the different genres, text types or assignment types that you may be required to produce at university in the UK. Secondly, we'll look at some successful examples of student writing and how language is used in those. And then finally, we'll look at how the FLAX system helps you to develop your knowledge of the collocations and language patterns that you may need to use in writing of your own. You'll see on the Presessional self-study area that we have given you two different collections that you can work with FLAX. The first one, which I'll focus on in this video, is the British Academic Written English collection of student writing which is incorporated in the British Academic Written English Corpus that we looked at in relation to Sketch Engine earlier. We also have a collection of doctoral writing from the PhD Abstracts collections that have been built specifically for students on courses B and C of the Presessional this year. For the time being though, we're going to look at two of the collections here, which I've opened already, the Social Sciences and the Physical Sciences collection. If I start with the Social Sciences, this is a brief introduction to the collection. The functions that you have available are what we have here. Now, I said I'd start with this. What we have here on the left are a number of different types of text that you may need to become familiar with. Certainly in the course of this program you're going to be expected to write at least one essay, if not more. Depending on the pathway that you're studying, you may be asked to produce a research report, and you may be asked to provide smaller tasks that may fit one of these descriptions. Okay. Since we know that we're going to be writing essays, let's take a quick look at that one. Okay. And you'll see here on the right that we have a range of essay titles, some of which are direct questions, some of which are quotations with an instruction. You'll notice in many that this word discuss arises, and to some extent many of the essays that you will need to write will be discussions or will be discursive. You can certainly choose to look at any one of those that you like, depending on the type of writing that you're being asked to do. You may prefer, of course, to look at these pieces of writing in relation to the discipline for which they're produced. Now, I started with this because I know that we have a number of business students, we have a number of economics students, a number of law students. I'm going to take economics as an example. And once again, what we have here on the right are several examples of writing in that discipline. Okay. Let's just take one as an example. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Immediately you get an idea of how this is structured. You can see the headings, the subheadings, the paragraphing. As we go down, very importantly, we also see the references there. What we can do with these when we look at them is examine them in different ways for language. First of all, if we look at this, what we're seeing is that it's highlighting the most frequent words in English that are used in this text. As we see though, what we can do is instead look at academic words, and you'll find that the words that are highlighted here are words that almost all appear in the academic word lists that you may have been studying yourselves or with your course tutors. It's equally interesting to look at this in terms of the word grammar, and you'll notice here that what this is showing us is a number of noun collocations: product, market, unemployment rates, wage increase rates. You need to be a little bit careful here because what's being highlighted are not complete noun phrases. If we have a look here, for example, unemployment data, an important collocation, number of other industrialized countries, the noun phrase here, of course, is in fact all of this. And one of the most useful things you can do here is to put these collocations into their phrasal context. Again, we have the collocation wage rates, though, of course, average wage rates is a more complete noun phrase. Here we'll find verb collocations, and here combinations of noun and adjective. Labour, skilled, economists, Keynesian. The collocations section lists all of the main words that are being used in this text, and by selecting any one of those you can look at the phrases and the collocations in which it appears. One of the first things you might like to look at though is this top 100, and what this gives us are the 100 most frequent noun plus noun collocations that occur in this social sciences collection. You may be interested, of course, to compare it to collocations that appear in a physical sciences collection. Again, if I look at the top 100, you'll see that immediately there's a disciplinary difference, and we're looking at concepts that are clearly of more interest to people working in various fields of physical sciences, for example physics or engineering. Again, if I go back, here we can see the vocabulary topics are much more closely related to social subjects, politics, economics, and so on. Take it back though. Remember that you can look at any word. Again, if you highlight words that you know are words that appear regularly in writing that you've been reading, or words that interest you from the academic word lists, you can then of course choose one of those and take a look at how it behaves in the writing in the collection. If I take one here, we'll see that in fact there is only one occurrence of actualization, self-actualization. Once that's chosen, if you click to the right of it though, you will see how that appears in its context. Before we leave this, I'd just like to look briefly at what FLAX call lexical bundles, which are phrasal structures that occur in academic writing. Here we can see that the focus is on phrasal constructions that occur at the beginning of sentences. We can look at phrasal constructions that occur in the middle of sentences, and we can look at further useful bundles or phrases that occur in these texts. We take an example of this, very, very common. We click here, and again it gives us nice clear examples of the use of that phrase in action in this case, social sciences texts. It doesn't appear at all in the physical sciences. Actual is our nearest. A lot more to choose from, as you can see. Take actual data as an example. Once again, you now have 6 contextualized examples of that language in use. I hope that short introduction to FLAX and its functionality gives you some ideas about how you might want to go about exploring some of this language for yourself. You'll find good examples of assignment types, good examples of language use, and hopefully some ideas that you can start using in the work of your own. Thanks for listening.